Hello and welcome to the News at 10 on NTA News 24. We are broadcasting live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Dennis Adegunloye. First, the headlines. 13 years after introduction, Senate passes Petroleum Industry Bill. House set to follow suit.
Soon, he will not have a hiding place. His strength will sure fail him, and the law will catch up with him.
DSS advises Sunday Igboho to turn himself into security agencies following discovery of arms and ammunition at his residence. Plus, federal government to introduce new revenue formula to compensate host communities in mining industry. All right, we'll begin at the National Assembly, where the Senate has passed the Petroleum Industry Bill, which it says, when signed into law, will reflect the yearnings of stakeholders in the oil and gas sector and make the market more competitive in Nigeria. At the House of Representatives, the report on the PIB bill was considered and approved. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports.
Consideration of the report began with a closed-door session involving the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources and the Group Managing Director of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation. 2 hours after the executive session, senators began clause-by-clause consideration of the bill presented by the Senate Joint Committee on Petroleum Downstream, Upstream and Gas.
One passed into law will strengthen the accountability, transparency of the NNPC Limited as a full-fledged Karma company under statutory regulations, oversight with better returns to its shareholders, the Nigerian people.
This gas flaring is making people sick. It is damaging the environment. The remediation we seek is not construction of pipelines.
They are optimistic that the bill, which is made up of 5 chapters which include governance and institutions, administration, host communities development, fiscal framework and miscellaneous provisions, will bring about the long-awaited change in the oil and gas sector. But a point of order from Senator Ahmed Bakaita resulted in the reduction of the 5% for Host Communities Development Fund to 3%.
The amendment is just instead of 5% to read 3%.
This elicited a call for division from Senator George Sekibo, which was eventually withdrawn.
That you increase the number a little bit and put the question again.
The bill also made provision for 30% of funding for exploration of frontier basins across the country and making the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation a commercial and limited liability company.
Those in favor that this bill be now read the 3rd time, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. At least the demons have been defeated in this chamber. We have passed the bill by the grace of God. And let me also say that this is one of the products of the executive and the legislature working together.
Meanwhile, as the House of Representatives, the mood during the consideration of the report on PIB depicts eagerness of members to pass and forward the bill to the executive for assent.
251, 252, 253, 254, 253. These are carried. You carry also.
Following an amendment by the chairman of the committee, Mohammed Tahir Mungunu, the percentage of development fund for host communities was increased from 2.5% to 5%. The speaker described the consideration and approval of the PIB as landmark achievements.
A 318th section law. It was no mean feat at all. And history, this House, this 9th Assembly, will be recorded on the right side of history.
This bill has suffered a protracted and checkered history of postponements in the National Assembly. Against this backdrop, Mr. Chairman, honorable members, we are on the verge of making history today.
This is the first time in more than 2 decades that the bill scaled this process of legislation as the House of Representatives. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
Now, the Petroleum Industry Bill has been the longest bill in the Nigerian Parliament and has visited 4 assemblies. In this report, Ignatius Nkwo takes a look at the journey of the proposed law at the National Assembly.
June 2021 marks the end of an era in Nigeria's top legislative arm of government, the termination of the Petroleum Industry Bill 18 years parliamentary journey. The Petroleum Industry Bill was conceived during the Olusegun Obasanjo administration in 2000 as part of recommendations by the Oil and Gas Sector Reform Implementation Committee, headed by Dr. Rilwanu Lukman. Its first legislative courtship with the National Assembly was in the 4th Assembly in 2003 as an executive bill. Like a new bride, the Petroleum Industry Bill received great acceptance by the legislators in view of its potential to reform Nigeria's oil and gas sector, open up the industry, attract investors, and give adequate attention to host communities. But at the time, it turned out into a parliamentary tug-of-war, and its courtship with the 6th Assembly did not go beyond second reading. The 7th Assembly also failed to pass it, while the 8th Assembly broke the bill into 4 versions. That is, the Petroleum Industry Governance Bill, Petroleum Hosts and Impacted Community Bill, Petroleum Industry Administration Bill, and the Petroleum Industry Fiscal Bill. That assembly was able to pass only the governance version, which did not receive presidential assent due to some critical observations made by the executive.
Because it had so many what was called impurities then. So many reservations, so much monies were given to different of the agencies under the petroleum. And then Mr. President considered that there will be less money available for the Federation account to distribute.
In virtually every point of engagement, we have had so many challenges to do with some political reasons, some issues, even sentiments as regards issues to do with the host communities, issues to do with the cost of oil pricing.
The 9th National Assembly, in consultation with the executive, ensured that the areas of contention were addressed, especially the regulatory authority and the percentage of dividends to host communities. This time, as a single bill from the executive has been passed by the Senate.
First time in this, within these 2 years, we had a retreat. We never had it before in the history of this assembly, where the executive and the legislature will spend 3 days to have a retreat.
The enactment of the Petroleum Industry Bill into law is long overdue, having engulfed huge sums of money for retreats and consultations since 2003. It has seen Nigeria incur losses from regulatory uncertainties in the sector, with some individuals and companies taking advantage of the legal loopholes.
I know you must have caused the federal government huge sums of money doing retreat abroad, even in Nigeria. But the good news is that the oil producing communities in Nigeria will have a sigh of relief with this bill.
The passage of this bill into law is expected to be the game changer that will fully unlock the Nigerian oil and gas sector. Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
In the meantime, citing Nigeria's perpetual loss in terms of oil revenues that flow into the continent on an annual basis, Chairman, Senate Committee on Petroleum Resources, Upstream, Senator Bassi Albert Akpan has explained that passage of the Petroleum Industry Bill is a bold statement to the international market that Nigeria is finally ready to do profitable business, which in turn repositions the economy for accelerated income generation. This was on NTA News shortly after passage of the bill.
The year 2000, that the country embarked on this voyage. We've never had it this good. And we know that based on submissions and various presentations, how much we have lost as a country. Over $50 billion has come into sub-Saharan Africa, and less than $3 billion has terminated in the country because of the obsolete laws that we once ran. I think what attracts an investor is the clarity of our laws and globally competitive fiscal incentive to drive investment, and also the clarity of implementing of our laws under the administrations. So, and I believe that for once upon a time, that for this National Assembly to pass this bill in one day, correspondingly in both chambers of the National Assembly, I think underscores and has sent the desired signal that our country is ready for global investment.
Senator Albert Akpan, Chairman, Senate Committee on Petroleum Upstream. And the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, says government is excited by passage of the Petroleum Industry Bill by the Senate and insists subsidy on petrol must go to give more fiscal room for meaningful development. She was speaking at the public consultation on the draft 2022 to 2024 medium-term expenditure framework and fiscal strategy paper. Leah Katum Babatunde completes the report.
The public consultation is the first in the series before the draft document is made into a working medium-term expenditure framework and fiscal strategy paper. 13.98 trillion naira is the planned expenditure for 2022. Upscaling revenues is the biggest task before policymakers at the moment as a result of the coronavirus pandemic. 900 billion naira is being planned for payment of subsidies, but the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, says resting the unsustainable subsidy regime is long overdue.
So we do need to get rid of subsidy completely. That is our view in the ministry. It's not a popular view by Labour, but that will be the most practical thing to do. Right now, we are subsidizing not only consumption in Nigeria, but consumption within the whole region. We have a price of about 165 naira, $10, but our neighbors are selling PMS at about $500. So the beneficiaries are actually the marketers that are taking this fuel from Nigeria across to our neighboring countries. They are the ones that are making the profit.
A look at the macroeconomic projections driving the plan show oil prices standing at $57 in 2022 and production at 1.88 million barrels per day. Inflation 13% in 2022. 10% in 2024, with GDP rising by 4.2% in 2022 and 2.3% in 2024.
And if the necessary reforms that we project, like the removals of some of these subsidies, we'll have a lot of funds available to be able to grow our GDP higher than our population.
The draft 2022 to 2024 MTF and FSP has been prepared against the backdrop of global economic recovery amidst improved vaccination outlook and lower incidence of infection. In Abuja, Leah Katungbaba today, NTA News.
Let's return to the National Assembly, where the House of Representatives has urged the federal government to be proactive in its ongoing engagements with owners of microblogging site Twitter for timely resolution of issues regarding its indefinite suspension. This formed part of the recommendations of the House Joint Committees mandated to investigate the matter. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports that Chairman House Committee on Information, Segun Odebumi, led investigations into the suspension.
The 6-point recommendation submitted and adopted by the House stressed that relevant agencies should wake up to their responsibilities. The House acknowledged the negative effects of the suspension of the operations of Twitter, but noted the significance of national security.
Security and freedom of expression sometimes present contending interests. Therefore, national security must be guaranteed.
The amendment by the Deputy Minority Leader Tobi Okechukwu seeking lifting of the suspension was rejected by the House. The House has passed a constitution amendment bill that would enable appointment of young persons and persons with disability into the federal and state executive councils. The bill, sponsored by House Speaker Femi Gbajabiamila, seeks amendment of Section 151 by including a subsection 4, which provides that the President and state governors, while exercising powers of appointment, shall include young persons and persons with disability.
Policies come and go depending on the government. What we seek to do here is to protect the welfare of every citizen of Nigeria, irrespective of who.
Also passed at second reading is the bill sponsored by Representative Doze Nwanko, seeking the establishment of Federal College of Education, Enugu Ukwu. Meanwhile, the legislators have adopted a resolution urging the federal government to put on hold the planned sale of Niger Delta Power Holding Company of Nigeria until lingering issues such as ownership are addressed. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
In other news, the Department of State Services has advised Sunday Igboho to present himself to security agencies as he will have no hiding place soon enough. This was when the DSS paraded 12 of his guards for stockpiling arms in their determination to undermine public order. Francis Form reports.
The arrests and seizures are no doubt a confirmation of a grand plan by Igboho and his cohorts to wage a violent insurrection against the Nigerian state.
Acting on a credible intelligence, a joint team of security operatives approached the residence of Igboho at Soka in Ibadan. The team were allegedly attacked by his suspected guards, armed with AK-47 guns.
Alert foreign missions and licensing authorities within and outside Nigeria about this development and the possibility that Igboho could declare some of his personal permits and identity cards missing in order to seek their replacement. But this will be the end of his shenanigans. Soon, he will not have a hiding place. His strength will sure fail him, and the law will catch up with him.
Items recovered from the suspects include 7 AK-47 rifles, 3 pistol guns, 5,000 rounds of 7.62mm ammunition, charms amongst others. 5 of the AK-47 assorted rifles recovered from the suspects are suspected to be those collected by Igboho and his men from the Nigerian customs and immigration personnel at Idi Iroko in Ogun State. Francis from NTA News.
You're on to the news at 10, reaching you live on NTA News 24. Up ahead, President Buhari directs disbursements of fertilizer subsidy fund. Good to have you back. Now, the attention of the Lagos State Police Command has been drawn to news making the rounds that some individuals have concluded plans to stage a mega rally in continuation of the secessionist agenda for Oodua Republic on the 3rd of July 2021 at the Gani Fayomi Freedom Park, or Jota, Lagos State. A statement by the Lagos State Police Command hereby warns that no rally will be allowed under whatever guise in any part of the state. The command warns organizers and their followers against staging interest of the state and the general public, as anyone caught participating or facilitating the rally will be dealt with in accordance with the law. The Lagos State Commissioner of Police, Akeem Odumosun, says the command will not be cajoled by the so-called organizers, that the rally will be peaceful. The command hereby appeals to the general public, especially Lagosians, to shun the rally, while parents and government of Lagos State are therefore urged to go about their normal daily activities, as the police command and other security agencies have, as usual, put measures in place to provide adequate and watertight security for all and sundry in the state. The Director General, Nigerian Television Authority, Yakubu Ibn Mohammed, has added to the list of his plaques of recognition. The latest is coming from a group of Nigerians rewarding unflinching support for the fight against insecurity. Abdullahi Mohammed reports. All right, that report is still in the process. We'll bring it to you as soon as we get it. Now, President Muhammadu Buhari is passionate about ensuring that micro, small and medium enterprises get the best necessary support from both the federal and state governments. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo stated this at the 28th edition of the National Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Clinic in Dutse, Jigawa State, where he also distributed agricultural machineries and equipment provided by the state to 922 beneficiaries. State House correspondent Jide Onifade reports.
Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, accompanied by Governor Abubakar Badaro, his deputy Umar Namadi, and Minister of State for Industry, Trade and Investment, Mariam Katagun, toured the exhibition ground where various local products are on display. Vice President Osinbajo had one-on-one interaction with the participants and acknowledges their efforts, promising that the federal government will continue to give support and provide an enabling environment for their businesses to thrive. The Vice President also commends the state governor for collaborating with the federal government in the implementation of the various federal programs in the state for the benefit of the people.
I want to further assure participants that every effort will be made to address the challenges and bottlenecks that they may be facing. I must also encourage you to bring any of the issues, especially the issues to do with approvals and all of that, to the attention of the MSME Clinic Secretariat between today and tomorrow to get assistance and quick responses from some of the relevant agencies.
On his part, Governor Abubakar Badaro says the federal government continues to support the state in providing road infrastructure, dams, water for irrigation, and other support to traders, farmers, and even social intervention for the vulnerable in the state.
His Excellency the President also recently tasked our Vice President, who is leading the steering committee of the National Poverty Reduction and Growth Strategy. Tax was lifting 100 million out of poverty in 10 years. The President believes the Vice President will deliver, and we so believe so.
For every state and local government in the country needs to identify specific areas of comparative advantage, particularly in agriculture and other resource endowments, and strive to optimize competencies.
Still in Jigawa State, the Vice President also joined the state governor in the distribution of agricultural machineries and equipment. Before departing Dutse, Vice President Osinbajo inaugurated a 5.2 kilometers road, which the state governor dedicated to the president for facilitating the various loans through the National Economic Council for the Development of Infrastructure in States. In Dutse, Jigawa State, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
In the meantime, chairmen of local government areas have been charged to take personal responsibility in addressing crimes arising from mining activities, as the federal government is coming up with a revenue formula to compensate host communities in the mining industry. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo stated this at the Sustainable Mining Conference with the 774 local government chairmen. Mia Ogidi reports.
44 solid minerals in 500 locations in the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory, buried in the bowels of the mountains. It is a paradox of some sort. Nigeria suffering in the midst of plenty due to management challenges.
Mining is hard work.
A control room as it were, the media men seated. Then the Vice President and top players in the solid minerals sector joined virtually. Vice President Osinbajo came prepared, touching on issues of resource management, federal, state, local government relations in unearthing the hidden wealth, and reading criminals out in the mining forest formed part of the VP's offering.
Hiring and equipping of armed groups by illegal but powerful mining concerns in many of our resource-rich areas is clearly fueled by the chaotic regulatory environment. The federal government, states and local governments have to jointly develop working arrangements to ensure that mining is attractive to investors, profitable for states and local governments. We must find a formula for compensating the communities for environmental degradation and erosion.
Out of the 44 minerals, 7 have been prioritized at the moment by the federal government, and getting the best of these 7 low-hanging fruits is the assignment before the Ministry of Mines and Steel Development, state executives, and local government chairmen.
And the Nigerian Governors Forum, which I head, will continue to work with the Ministry of Mines and Steel Development to deepen the objective of cooperative federalism and beneficial participation of all stakeholders in the Nigerian mining sector.
It demonstrates our zeal and preparedness to welcome global investment partners. We have put in place incredible incentives to support investors and to unlock the sector.
2 gold refineries almost ready in Nigeria. This will put an end to the exportation of raw mineral resources to other countries, the Ministry of Mines and Steel Development assured. Mie Ogide, NTA News.
Director General, Nigerian Television Authority, Yakubu Ibn Mohammed, has added to the list of his plaques of recognition. The latest is coming from a group of Nigerians rewarding unflinching support for the fight against insecurity. Abdullahi Mohammed reports.
Insecurity, a global concern. Winning the fight, a collective effort. Management and intelligence sharing, critical. And for being consistent in the discharge of these roles, the Director General, Nigeria Television Authority, was found to be excellent. His Director News stood in for him with a reassurance of NTA's continuous support.
NTA remains committed in partnering with the nation's security agencies towards maintaining peace and security, because nothing can be achieved without peace and security. And we all know the situation in our country now, which is bedeviled by a lot of security challenges. So this is in recognition of that contribution of the NTA and the Director General in particular towards ensuring that peace and security are restored in the country.
A compendium which seeks to guide the public in supporting security agents in keeping the peace was introduced.
I want to say without missing word that national security concerns is everybody's business.
A song was also dedicated to peace and security in Nigeria. In Abuja, Abdullah Mohammed, NTA News.
You're on to the news at 10 on NTA News 24. Stay with us, more reports shortly.
NTA, you can't beat the reach.
This is the network service of the NTA.
credible database of Nigerians living in the diaspora, the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, NIDCOM, has launched its data mapping and registry portal in Abuja. This is big news, I must say. Please stay tuned for more details. And did you know that Ireland has just appointed its first black mayor? And guess what? She is a Nigerian. That is big news. And the chairman CEO of the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, Honorable Abike Dabiri Erewa, has condemned in strong terms the alleged killing of a Nigerian footballer by the UK police. I've got these and much more for you on today's edition of your favorite program, The Diaspora, and I am Koinsola Adetumbi. Please stay tuned. Inaugurating the Diaspora Mapping Portal, the Minister of State, Foreign Affairs and Supervising to NIDCOM, Ambassador Zubairu Dada, explained that the portal will enhance diaspora participation and demographic and national planning across all levels of governance. Please watch.
It's my honor and privilege to address you at this very important occasion where the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission will be commissioning our data mapping and registry portal. Now, the significance of this commissioning serves not only to create awareness of this portal, but also to develop a collaborative agenda for the development of a credible database for every Nigerian in the diaspora. Now, from inception, we have taken up this task of mapping out the Nigerians in diaspora around the world. We understand that for us to effectively execute the mandate of the Commission to provide for the engagement of the Nigerian diaspora and the policies, projects and programs of the Nigerian government at all levels, we must have a reliable and secure database of, we say we are 17 million Nigerians in the diaspora, but we have to ensure that, who knows, we are much more than that. So the goal of this event today is to build a realistic profile of these approximately millions of Nigerians in the diaspora, identify them and engage them effectively. In the first year of our coming into being, we were able to put together sites for 10 countries in our 2020 project. So this year, 2021, we will include 10 more countries, which will solidly capture their data in over 20 countries by the end of 2021. So we are also invested in high-tech solutions such as artificial intelligence systems and advanced data analytics systems designed to identify and bring us closer to Nigerians living in the diaspora.
Let me all the same congratulate Nigerians in diaspora on this very historic event of the commissioning of data management portal by the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission. The main essence of developing a database for the Nigerians in diaspora is for the active pursuance of the mandate of the Commission as enshrined in the 2017 NIDCOM Establishment Act, which, amongst others, is to provide for the engagement of Nigerians in diaspora in the policies, projects, and programs of the Nigerian government at all levels. It is further intended to facilitate their participation in the development of Nigeria through the utilization of their human, capital, and material resources for the overall socio-economic, cultural, and political development of their fatherland and for matters related thereto. I cannot help but confess how impressed I am that the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission has achieved this feat in such a very, very short time. And I believe one must salute the chairman of the commission, Honorable Abike Dabiri, and a very able and enterprising team for this landmark achievement. I wish to seize this auspicious opportunity to appeal to all Nigerians in the diaspora to make use of this opportunity to register and be counted as bona fide members of our great country. I need not remind you that this is a civic responsibility and a noble cause that we must, as responsible citizens, participate in with pride and patriotism. But it is clear that the diaspora database is a critical element for mobilizing and galvanizing the Nigerian diaspora for national development, in line with the intent, purpose, and vision for the establishment of Nigerians in Diaspora Commission. At this juncture, it is my singular honor and indeed a very rare privilege to commission the Nigerians in Diaspora data mapping portals for the use and benefit of all Nigerians in the diaspora. I wish to thank you all for your participation in this very, very historic event. I wish to pray that God blesses the Federal Republic of Nigeria. God bless Nigerians in the Diaspora Commission, and God bless our beloved and most treasured Nigerians in the diaspora. In doing so, let me seize again this opportunity and rare privilege, like I said, to now commission the portal for the use of Nigerians in the diaspora.
The establishment of the Diaspora Data Mapping Portal is of the utmost importance, and it will go a long way in helping the Nigerian government to understand the socio-demographic spread, economic characteristic, potentials of its diaspora, and the willingness of it to invest in the country. The information will not only position the government to engage the diaspora for sustainable national development, it will enable it to put in place policies, legal framework, and programs that will foster relationships and trust, create incentives which will attract and maximize diaspora's contribution, facilitate their ties with the country, and ensure harmonization and their contribution, as well as effective mechanism for their protection abroad. I would like to therefore encourage Nigerians anywhere in the world who have interest to contribute in any way to the development of the country to register on the portal. As individuals, their contribution may be small. Collectively, they could make great impacts. There is a great impact on economic growth and help the country to achieve one of the key of the Sustainable Development Goals, which is to increase the volume of global remittances as a percentage of gross domestic product. While we applaud NIDCOM for this landmark achievement, I would like to urge the Commission to ensure that the information that are placed on the portal are protected and secured. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to conclude by reaffirming IOM's commitment to support the government of Nigeria in engaging the diaspora for sustainable national development and also other areas of common interest. Thank you very much.
I wish to inform you that the EU has launched a study together with ICMPD on the potential role of diaspora for the future EU-Thailand partnerships, including in the EU Pact on Migration and Asylum. So this is another proof from our side as well that we value diaspora and its role for national development. And we really hope that some of you can participate in the study. We have already included Nigeria as a priority country, so this is actually something that can show us what can be done even more in the future. I wish to thank IOM for being a partner in this process, and you for your commitment, and all stakeholders involved in making the Diaspora Commission even more visible during the last few years. So thank you so much. And I also wish to reiterate our support from the EU in being a partner in this process. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Your Excellencies, I am so grateful to be part of this commissioning today. And I want to commend you, ma'am, for the great things you're doing to see to the affairs of Nigerians in diaspora. This is one of it, and together we will achieve it. Thank you so much.
The Nigerian diaspora data mapping is aimed at collecting basic data items for further analysis in order to make sense of them all in the future. It simply intends to match real data of every Nigerian in the diaspora to the estimated 17 million Nigerians in the diaspora being projected. As a first step, and in order to create storage clusters with a view to provide for ease of storage, sorting, and analysis of data being collected, we have made the portal to be developed based on country-by-country basis. Your Excellency, among the 10 pilot countries we are launching today, the list includes some of the most prominent countries where Nigerians are found, as well as some of the least prominent countries where Nigerians live. They include the United States of America, USA, the United Kingdom, Armenia, and Guyana, among others, with the view to cater for other countries whose portal is not yet available at the moment due to budget funding constraints. We have created the other countries form placed next to the countries available. These data will be sorted as their respective countries come on board. Therefore, the diaspora data mapping portals, which are also accessible through the NITCOM website, can be found at www.nitcom.gov.ng/registry, where our diaspora can go and register as individuals or as a family unit. The portal has been made to be very user-friendly and encouraging for data capture, such that the average person can be able to easily key in their respective data items and submit easily without much worries.
Kudos to NITCOM and to our diasporas. Please remember to register. Meet Miss Uremu Adejimi, the first African and first black female to become mayor at Longford County Council, Ireland. She was elected as the Catholic of Longford Municipal District. She began politics in 2016 with Fiona Fali and got actively involved in meetings, fundraisings, and conversations. In 2018, she undertook an internship with the Immigrant Council of Ireland, shadowing Joe Flaherty, while he was a local councillor. In 2020, Mr. Flaherty became a TD and Ms. Adejimi was co-opted to his seat. She previously was an executive officer at the Department of Health and has a Master's of Business Administration from Athlone Institute of Technology. Adejimi left Nigeria to Longford in 2003 and has since identified herself as Irish and African. Congratulations, ma'am. More wins. And now over to Boy Alinko.
Not so fast. Look, I'm tired. I want to check out of this country for greener pastures.
Just calm down for a moment. Please sit down.
Do you have a job where you're going to?
No, but someone is arranging, Listen, Alinko. Checking out of this country without proper planning means one thing. Unimaginable begin. You know, I've been in the diaspora, but legitimately doing great things at home and abroad. As I've been saying, without the proper footing abroad, the risk is not worth it. Listen, Alinko, it's better to be home than be trapped abroad, or even end up in prison.
Welcome back. Remember, if you must travel, travel legitimately. Another win for Nigeria as Mr. Ime Udoka, a Nigerian-American professional basketballer, was recently introduced as the head of Boston Celtics National Basketball Association. He becomes the 18th coach in the organization's 75-year history and the 6th black coach. The 43-year-old head coach represented the Nigerian national team in the 2005 FIBA African Championship, where he led his team to earn a bronze medal after he played a vital part in the final game against Algeria, where he scored 24 points. In AfroBasket 2011, he led his team to another bronze medal where they defeated Ivory Coast. He represented the Nigerian national basketball team during his playing. Kudos, brother. Keep making Nigeria proud. The chairman CEO, Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, NIDCOM, Honorable Abike Dabiri Erewa, has condemned the alleged killing of a Nigerian footballer, Kelvin Iguani, by the UK police. Iguani, who is believed to be a Nigerian footballer, was allegedly shot dead by officers who attended a call-out to a house where a child was found with serious injuries. NIDCOM's boss, in a statement on Wednesday by the head of media, Abdurrahman Balogun, described the incident as very unfortunate and sad. Dabiri Arewa called on the UK government to carry out a thorough and proper investigation on the incident. She condoled with the family of the deceased and the Nigerian communities in the UK and prayed to God for repose of the soul of the deceased. An earlier statement by the Thames Valley Police said officers were called to a property in 2 Mile Ash, Northwest Milton Keynes on June 26th and made a forced entry after acting on information from a witness. Inside, they found a man who is in his 30s who was later confirmed dead and a young child with serious injuries. They also found the Nigerian footballer Kelvin Iguani, who is understood officers deployed taser before shots were fired at him, which led to his death.
Not so fast. Look, I'm tired. I want to check out of this country for greener pastures.
Just calm down for a moment. Please sit down. Do you have a job where you're going to?
No, but someone is arranging,
Listen, Aliko. Checking out of this country without proper planning means one thing. Unimaginable begin. You know, I've been in the diaspora, but legitimately doing great things at home and abroad. As I've been saying, without the proper footing abroad, the risk is not worth it. Listen, Alinko, it's better to be home than be trapped abroad or even end up in prison.
Thank you for staying all through the program. We hope it's been worth your while. And in case you have anything to share with us, please do not hesitate to do so as we expect feedback on our show. Remember, you can reach us on all our social media platforms. On Facebook at Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, on Instagram at NIDCOM_gov, on our YouTube page at NIDCOM_gov, and on our website at www.nidcom.gov.ng. You can also join us on DSTV at NTA Network on Friday at 10:30 a.m., on NTA International on Tuesday at 6 a.m. and 10:05 p.m., on NTA News 24 on Friday at 2:30 p.m., and on Sunday at 10:30 a.m. You can also join us on WAP TV on Thursdays at 9 a.m. and on WTV on Wednesdays and Sundays at 8 a.m. And you can join us on Ben TV London at 4:30 p.m. on Saturday. I remain your host, Koinsola Adetumbi. See you next time.
designed by the Almighty.
Someone who is a Christian is someone who lives a life of
Christ.
Jesus Christ. And the life of Jesus Christ is a life of sacrifice.
Yes.
Man is created to be able to make choices in life. The choices we make as Homo sapiens makes man either rational or an irrational being. Based on his choices, he is expected to be responsible for the totality of his actions and inactions. A man's lifestyle is the interest, opinions, behaviors, and behavioral orientations of the individual, group, or culture. Life is full of choices, good or bad, white or black. The various choices we make as individuals will one day catch up with us. One of those choices we make in life relates to our health. After all, it is often said, health is wealth. It suffices that our health is important and should be precious to us. However, some of our choices in life as individuals responsible for our various ways of life leaves much to be desired. While a healthy lifestyle will help promote physical fitness and leaves us energetic and at reduced risk for diseases, based on the choices we make in our daily habits, an unhealthy lifestyle exposes us to avoidable risk of varying degrees of dangers, some controllable and some fatal.
Your lifestyle can affect your health in several ways. If you're a smoker, be prepared to die early. If you're a drunkard, your liver is at stake. So if you live a good lifestyle, there's every tendency that you would live longer.
Kind of food you eat, like proteinous foods, which are very, very good for our health. Not that alone, you take in good water to flush in and to make your food digest easily.
We must be able to consider physical fitness, because people who do not, indulge in exercises, daily exercises, they most times have their life being, hampered. So on daily basis, we must be able to form the habit of, doing exercises, or one way or the other have ourselves, doing physical fitness exercises.
When you live your life, you need to balance up. You don't need to overstress and overwork yourself. Yes, you should work, but you should know the balance between work and rest, so you don't break down at a point and then you just get very useless.
What we consume, eat, drink, or smoke goes a long way in determining the status of our health in the long run.
The most common for us, and I think I should start with that, is unnecessary sugar. Instead of doing that, why not opt for a healthy option like your fruit juice, freshly made, which you're sure contains nutrients. Too much alcohol is not good for the body. Cigarette already said that already. And then fats, they have saturated fats. Saturated fats are totally bad for us.
Good nutrition, daily exercise, and adequate sleep are foundations for continuing good health. As important and simplistic these seems, it requires great discipline for anyone to maintain a healthy lifestyle which helps improve our general well-being.
If you are self-read, if you take your body seriously enough to be able to research by yourself, I don't think it will cost you anything. Because if you think your body is important enough and you read up on what to do at the right time and how to handle your body, it wouldn't cost you anything. But if you feel like, oh, you're too busy doing, because there's something I respect professionalism. There are some people, like I said, I'm a lifestyle doctor. This is my work. This is where I am focused on. So if you think you're too busy focusing on your own profession, that you wouldn't have the time to do that, then it would cost you something to be able to get my service.
Help us to maintain a perfect or near perfect healthy living. Unfortunately, it's been discovered that most people are complacent about their lifestyle habits, and so they do the opposite of what ordinarily should help them promote and sustain a good, healthy living.
Unhealthy lifestyle is actually life-threatening. It is life-threatening. Beyond the fact that it might cost your life, I think you should actually think about, a lot of people, nobody wants to die really. People want to live long. But if you want to live long, quote and unquote, how do you want to see yourself when you are like 80? Do you want to be a burden on people? Do you want to be healthy enough? Do you want to be strong enough to function properly? Because actually living a healthy lifestyle is like an investment. Most people that are sad, depressed, if you check, their lifestyles are not in order. If you follow all the 6 headings, from the nutrition to exercise to tobacco and alcohol consumption to stress management to proper sleeping and having healthy relationships, if these lifestyles, if they are well balanced, I can assure you won't have people committing suicide. So like the toll on the body, the list is endless.
In general, as rational human beings, you are responsible for the consequences of your actions and inactions. Why won't you choose to live a healthy lifestyle that will not predispose you to fatal consequences in life? The choice is yours.
Hello again, here is a brief look at some of our major stories. I'm Dennis Adigunloye. The Senate has passed the Petroleum Industry Bill, which it says, when signed into law, will reflect the yearnings of stakeholders in the oil and gas sector and make the markets more competitive in Nigeria. At the House of Representatives, the report on the PIB bill was considered and approved.
At least the demons have been defeated in this chamber. We have passed the bill by the grace of God. And let me also say that this is one of the products of the executive and the legislature working together.
Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, says government is excited by the passage of the Petroleum Industry Bill by the Senate and insists subsidy on petrol must go to give more fiscal room for meaningful development. She was speaking at the public consultation on the draft 2022 to 2024 medium-term expenditure framework and fiscal strategy paper.
Completely, that is our view in the ministry. It's not a popular view by Labour, but that will be the most practical thing to do. Right now, we're subsidizing not only consumption in Nigeria, but consumption within the whole region. We have a price of about 165 naira, $10, but our neighbors are selling PMS at about $500. So the beneficiaries are actually the marketers that are taking this fuel from Nigeria across to our neighboring country. They are the ones that are making the profit.
The Department of State Services has advised Sunday Igboho to present himself to security agencies, as he will have no hiding place soon enough. This was when the DSS paraded 12 of his guards for stockpiling arms in their determination to undermine public order.
Alert foreign missions and licensing authorities within and outside Nigeria about this development and the possibility that Igbo could declare some of his personal permits and identity cards missing in order to seek their replacement. But this will be the end of his shenanigans. Soon, he will not have a hiding place. His strength will sure fail him, and the law will catch up with him.
Well, that was a look at some of our top stories. Join us again at 1 for more news. Good morning.
Service of the NTA.
Last week, the Professional Footballers Association of Nigeria, under the leadership of Tijani Babangida M.
It's the dawn of a new era on NTA's flagship program, the Sports Parliament, revitalized with lots of varieties, including feedback responses from viewers. Sports Parliament, the weekly sports show that exposes all the intrigues in the Nigerian sports sector and projects an agenda on the way forward for Nigerian sports. On NTA every Thursday at 10:30 p.m., running for 1 whole hour, discussing sports. The parliamentarians are more committed than ever to enlighten the viewers as the Sports Parliament takes it to a whole new level on the floor of the House. Keep a date with the Sports Parliament as motions are moved every Thursday on the floor of the House. Mr. Speaker, with his gavel to harmonize sports resolutions. The House have it.
Welcome back. We have to do that all over again. Last week, the Nigeria Professional Footballers Association of Nigeria, under the leadership of Tijani Babangida, issued an ultimatum to the Nigeria Football Federation to amend 4 sections of the statutes of the Federation within 90 days, or the heavens will fall. In the last few days, the Club Owners Association of Nigeria, under the leadership of Isaac Danladi, also issued a communique directing the NFA to amend sections of the statutes. In short, there is a problem with the statutes governing the Nigeria Football Federation. And I know from my own experiences that it is the product of several years of manipulations, to suit certain interest groups at specific times, particularly shortly before elections. And now the elections into the board will be due in 2022, 1 year plus to go. And it promises to be very turbulent, but very interesting. So on the show tonight, we have some very interesting personalities that will be throwing more light on this subject. Don't go anywhere. I'm Segun Odegbami, Speaker of the Sports Parliament, coming to you live from our studio today. I am in Abuja. Last week I was in Abuja. But across the country, we are going to have parliamentarians and special guests on today's show. But for now, calling from all the way from Ibadan is our special parliamentarian who has been as consistent as the Northern Star of late. And I'm talking of Waheed Ekum. Waheed, how are you?
I'm fine. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I'm happy to be on the program tonight. And I'm happy to be part of the contribution happening in the Nigerian football scene. It's very interesting.
It will be interesting because as a table tennis player, we will be looking at football from the outside. You know, you will be looking at it as a football person. That gives us a very interesting perspective.
Yes, it's very interesting.
I have two special guests. One, the president of the Professional Football Association of Nigeria himself, the MON, one of the fastest men that ever played football in Nigeria, Tijani Babangida. Good to see you, TJ.
Thank you very much, Mrs. This one, they call me because you are my Oga. That's what I become number 7. I was the fastest.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Good to see you again. And of course,
yes,
the man who stirred all this wahala, because he was the one that you made the chairman of the task force that issued the ultimatum. A man that so many Nigerians love to hate, because for so many years now, he has always been in the eye of the storm, championing horses, all of them, you know, related to football administration, the NFA, elections, statutes, and so on and so forth. So we have the pleasure to welcome on the show tonight, Mr. Harrison Jala. Harrison, how are you?
Very well, Mr. Speaker. Good evening, members of the Parliament. Good evening, Nigerians.
Fantastic. Most Nigerians don't know your face, but they know your voice, they know your name. So, and of course, we also have joining us now the SAN himself. Good to see you, Babatunde Ogala. How are you tonight, my parliamentarian?
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I'm very well, thank you. And it's my pleasure to be here. Good evening, fellow parliamentarians. Good evening, Tijani and Harrison. Good evening, Nigerians.
Well, I believe that by the time we progress, more of us in the parliament will be joining the show tonight. So don't go anywhere. You are watching the Sports Parliament coming to you from Africa's largest television network, and that's the Nigerian Television Authority, the NTA. Join us after the break.
It's the dawn of a new era on NTA's flagship program, the Sports Parliament. Revitalized with lots of varieties, including feedback responses from viewers. Sports Parliament, the weekly sports show that exposes all the intrigues in the Nigerian sports sector and projects an agenda on the way forward for Nigerian sports. On NTA every Thursday at 10:30 p.m., running for 1 whole hour, discussing sports. The parliamentarians are more committed than ever to enlighten the viewers as the Sports Parliament takes it to a whole new level on the floor of the House. Keep a date with the Sports Parliament as motions are moved every Thursday on the floor of the House. Mr. Speaker, with his gavel to harmonize sports resolutions. The House have it.
Welcome back. Once again, this is the Sports Parliament. You haven't missed anything yet, but you must sit for this riveting show. Let me go straight to Tijani Babangida to ask my own first question, because this is the issue of an ultimatum given by a task force that people say you have a hand in, or you initiated, or it is your handiwork. Do you know anything about this ultimatum and the task force? TJ.
We created the task and members, of course, chairman of the task, Edema Fuludi, of the task force. We bring some few members for them to go in and come back with of what they discussed about for the 2020. And at the end of it, come out with ultimatum to NFF is to act, even though it's an ultimate. But of course, we are able to give a 90 days Congress time, if I may say, I do not know the calendar. In terms of 9 that we have to reach the 90 is you have the leaders who are stakeholders, and before they the agitation, because and you can call issues and march, and at least that is what we have given. We're expecting, of course, we're expecting some from the
TJ, can you raise your voice a little bit, because I can't hear everything you are saying, and I know that if I can't hear, then they won't be able to hear at home. So raise your voice a little so we can hear you better. What you are saying is so important. Yeah.
Yes, it's very important. I said maybe I will repeat it. That there is a report coming back from the task force that we have written down to them for a nice alternative, but you know about that, in that you can ask before a Congress and before a meeting of Congress, and we have asked them sure that they are, and then we can have with them. One very important is say, and we have the statute and we know how it goes. Of course, this matters, and this thing is just we are having a. I mean, it's something that has to be changed, and I'm sure the president and the NFF react to this so that we and discuss a lot of issues. The chairman of the task force, but I think that for now we are waiting for that, and I can assure that before that 90 days, a report back from NFF and things will be perfect.
Okay. I didn't get all of that, but I think I got enough to ask Harrison Jalla now. You know, between he and I, we've been working on so many things for so many years, and I don't know, is the PFAN an affiliate of the Nigeria Football Federation? Are we in their statutes at all? Do we have representation on the board of the NFF? And do we have the locus to actually give them an ultimatum? Harrison Jalla, old soldier that you are, what do you think?
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Okay, let me just break it down. The president has spoken, and he spoke. It was very loud and clear. Yes. What I want to really make clear is that all the members of the Nigerian Football Federation are of equal status. The Professional Football Association is a member. Is of equal status with the FA chairman. Is of equal status with the referees. Is of equal status with the coaches. And is of also equal status with the clubs. So what we are saying is that all members should be represented fairly in the composition of the Congress and the composition of the board. We went for that to state it very clearly and unambiguously that we are the most important segment of the game. and that we have been on the sidelines for 76 years since organized football started in Nigeria. We want a change to all that, but we are following due process. So we looked at the statutes, we looked at the FIFA regulation, we looked at the CAF regulations, and we also looked at the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So what we are asking for is a matter of right that cannot be sidelined. So we are asking that whatever wrong that has been done in the past should be amended within the statutory 90 days. If that is not done, we look at the options that are open to us within the rules of the NFF, within the rules of FIFA, within the rules of CAF, and within the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We'll take it from there.
The way you are sounding, it is so serious. It's like the Supreme Court. It's like we are in the Supreme Court, this matter of the statutes of the NFF. But maybe I should allow my parliamentarians to pass a comment, or maybe I should ask a question so that we throw more light on this subject. You mentioned, okay, I know the statutes of the NFF. I don't know the latest one. Let me admit, I do not know the latest one. But some years ago, when you looked at the statutes, you will find that composition, the people that actually own the Nigeria Football Association or Nigeria Football Federation, the people that form it are the clubs, private organizations, the clubs. Suddenly, and that's how it was at the start, you know, when elections were coming, it was elections between 13 and 14 people on the board because each affiliate is represented by one. So you have 13 or 14 people. It was not expensive. You all just met in the capital city, and in 2 days you've done the elections, no controversy, no too much spending of money. Suddenly, we found that the clubs have been relegated. They have only one member on the board. Now you have state football associations that never existed as that huge group that are now 37 in number, and they determine whoever becomes the president. And you are saying, from what I listened to you, that that is a constituency that should have one representative, just as the players have one, just as the referees that are all over the states have one, and so on and so forth. Is that what you are saying? So that by the time you add those things up, you will get the 13 or 14 that used to have the election? Or are you saying that the 37 should remain, and then the players' associations should have 20 places? How did you come about the 20? Wouldn't that be too large a number and so on? We go back to what we are trying to run away from. Harrison Jalla.
Okay, let me make some clarifications on that. As it stands today, it's like you have like a father that has 6 children, and one of those children confiscated 90% of the property of his father. That's what is happening. But I will explain further. As it stands today, the FA has 37 representatives, including the Federal Capital Territory. On the Congress, you know, what they just did is to give one to other members of the board. Those members, like the PFAN, for instance, are of equal status. The referees are of equal status. The coaches are of equal. So some people, just one constituency, just constitute themselves, and they now have 37 representatives on the board, and decide on the Congress, and decide both for themselves every election year, those who make up the boards of the federation. We are saying that enough is enough of that. The PFAN has 36 chairmen in all the various states. If the club will have to be a constituency to vote, the proper people to vote are the club captains. So what we are simply saying is simple. The game of football belongs to us. We have personality, ex-footballers who have all the technical and managerial ability to run the affairs of football. So what we are simply saying is that, look, change and amend this rule, give us our proper place, so that we can move on with the game. We are only saying that we cannot stay by the sideline any longer. We are a member of football status. All the states of the federation will have representatives. They must be on that congress, and they must have powers to vote. So that if the process is opened up, then whichever constituency that has majority in the Congress can now fairly say, oh, we have won. But we are not going to sit down idly when people who have no business with the game, those who were nominated by state governments as chairmen of FAs, to come and have control. The effect is there as we speak today. Football is on a free fall. The last 8 years is a complete disaster. This is an industry that should be the highest revenue earner in this country as we speak. But everything is deteriorating. So we are looking at the economic angle of it, the revenue that it will generate for Nigeria as a nation, how the industry will be developed and built, how jobs will be provided for the youth of this country, 60% of which are interested in the game of football. So the people who simply have running the game of football today have no passion for the game. They don't even know what to do. They don't understand.
Harrison, that is all of that. Harrison, all of that is subjective. All of that is debatable. Everybody has their opinion about that. I don't know whether you are right or wrong. But let me ask Tijani, having listened to Harrison now, are you in line with those thoughts that those from the states, for example, who are state FA chairmen, are they genuine stakeholders, or are they political appointees? Because it appears from listening to you that the greater grouse lies with that group of persons. They constitute the largest chunk of people that elect the president. And they are appointees largely of government. And yet we are saying an NFF that is a private organization, and they should have one representation. Am I representing you well? Is that how you think, Tijani Babangida?
Well, that is it. Same to what Jala have just said now. It's like you have a father, you have children, and that these children are having, you are treating them differently, and you are giving the other ones a kamu, for example. If you are tired, you can tell your father, listen, the same thing like you are giving my brothers. That is the main problem of this now. Tell you, Mr. Speaker, the most important, we are talking to the leadership. What is happening, you can see that you have in each and every state of FA members of FIFA. And we can see that it's also good if we can they can be able to represent us as well. Open hands. You have club captains. You have clubs, also 20 clubs. Let me tell you, Speaker, in Ghana, they get together and come out with, they give almost 30 votes. Clubs owners, 30. Here you can see we only have 37 and affiliated, 3 affiliated with 37. It's not possible that we can be able to sit and discuss this issue. It's very discuss this issue. This game, of course, is the footballers, of course, and we are all together. They are not pushing anyone away, but take everybody able to discuss this easy without any right. It's just easy. We can sit and discuss this. If they discuss about our amend the statute, and then we are good to go. And I can assure you that there won't be any problem, or we'll move swiftly again.
Okay, Tijani. SAN, you are a major stakeholder in Nigerian football. You are a club owner. You are also a legal luminary. And these days, you are becoming more and more solid and consolidated within the legal planet of our sports. And I know you have perused inside and out the statutes of the Nigeria Football Federation. Listening to Harrison Jalla, listening to Tijani Babangida, from your own experiences so far, SAN, because me, it's confusing to me now. What do you think?
For me, I think there seems to be a lot of misconception. There seems to be what I call entitlement mentality. I hear Harrison say the footballers are the ones who make the game happen. I say no. The club owners are the employers. Primarily. No matter how good you are a footballer, you are a professional footballer. So the owners of the game are the employers. And without sounding arrogant, I will say everybody is complementary. Be it the states, be it the owners, be it the footballers, be it the marketers, be it the sponsors. We all hold stakes, but who has bigger stakes? Because without the clubs, there can't be footballers. We pay them. They are professionals, first and foremost.
We are not talking of the clubs now. We are talking of the state FA chairman.
I will take it in totality.
Okay,
Mr. Speaker,
go on.
He went as far as
they are different from club owners, so...
He went as far as statistics and all of that. We club owners also have some strong views about that. But what I want to say here, NFF itself, it's a body that is unknown to law. That we also know. The only body known to law as at date is the NFA. That is the only body that is empowered to regulate football in this country.
But the NFA is not running football. Is the NFF running it?
Like you have rightly observed, in those days, 14 of them would sit down somewhere, and you said that is the statute. So NFF is only a conglomeration and a convenient arrangement to circumscribe what FIFA was talking about government intervention. Now it has come up with a statute. The statute, as it is, has prescribed those who should constitute the Congress, which we all have, rightly or wrongly too, subscribed to. Now,
No. That's the argument. They have not subscribed to it.
I say rightly or wrongly. I chose my words.
Okay.
Rightly or wrongly. For as long as we participate, it's tacit. We have tacitly subscribed if we participate in its activities. True? So that's why I said, rightly or wrongly, we have all subscribed to. However, if you want an amendment in the composition, because this is where I disagree with PFA, is it by threats? I don't think so. Is it by going to the meeting or consultations and lobbying? I think so. Because when you want to come forward and say you own the game, you even hurt me, who is putting my resources in it, to keep you at work. But we'll put that aside. So as it is today, the 36 states FA are in that statute as representatives. The club owners are there, albeit in minority. The club owners and where are these FAs coming from? Simply, we are only trying to circumvent what NFA decree says, because FIFA says we don't want government intervention. And that is why they quickly put that contraption called NFF as a vehicle of convenience. So if we have subscribed to it and we believe we should have more say, nobody is saying a footballer or a club owner cannot be chairman. But of course, because of the skilled nature of the membership, it will always give an advantage to a group. So if you now want to change that, is it by issuing ultimatum? No. If they do not answer you, what can you do? Tell your members to stop playing football? The club owners
They could.
Then the club owners will also stop paying salaries.
Yes, now, so that the system can be changed.
So the system collapses.
So that the system can be changed.
So I said then the system collapses and maybe rebuilt. But you see, for me, I think what ought to be done is more of diplomacy. It's more of persuading people.
Okay, what are the issues they have raised? Not the process.
About
they have raised about certain matters in the statutes, not the process. They are saying that something is lopsided.
The constitution of the body. That is what you are saying.
That's what they are challenging. That's what they are challenging.
But I will also ask, like you have asked, what is their locus? To even challenge. They are players, they are employees.
No, but they are players. They have a space on the board. No, they have a space on the board.
That is why I said, let's not stretch it too far. It is a situation. If the players are wanting to make claims, what do you want the club owners to do? And the club owners, unfortunately, are also affiliated to the state FAs. For instance...
Okay. We are not... Let us go to Ibadan, because we'll come back to you. We'll come back to you. Let us go to Ibadan, because you are talking of club owners who should be... Wait, let me finish. The club owners, from what I know of the original... the genesis of the NFA. And yes, the genesis of it, who actually forms, what's that word now? Who registers the NFA with the Corporate Affairs Commission to make it a private body? Who?
With any commission.
Yes, I know. I'm just saying. I'm saying that's what it should be. It is a private organization. It is a private organization that should not be interfered with by any third parties, including government. No. So as a private organization,
NFF, Mr. Speaker, you are not listening to me.
Okay, I'm listening. No, I'm listening. I'm trying to understand what you are saying.
What of a player? Now, NFF itself is not registered with anybody. That is why I said it's a contraption. It's an unregistered body. It's unknown to law. It cannot be sued. It cannot be sued, and it cannot sue in its name.
So don't you think that body should not even exist? Based on what you just said, a body that is not registered cannot be sued and can. So what are we doing?
Mr. Speaker, let me make my point. Don't put words in my mouth. If, as it is today, if there is a decision to say, okay, we want to ratify this body, I say we, because I'm talking about the totality of the stakeholders, the totality of it, then we can now agree on a statute. But like I said, if this body, as is constituted, and we are wittingly or unwittingly, rightly or wrongly, agree to be affiliated to it as it is.
Where did you agree?
If I am affiliated and I'm playing this competition, what have I done?
Well, you are affiliated to an organization you say is not registered, does not have even a basis to exist.
That is the point. You see, we cannot approbate and reprobate. That is the point. And I've chosen my words carefully, rightly or wrongly.
So shouldn't we do what is right and just do the proper thing and give it life?
And I can set up my own body and ask clubs to come and be affiliated. But unfortunately, most of the clubs are even government owned.
Okay, let us rest. Let us rest. SAN, rest. Let's rest you for a little while. Let's go to Waid before we go on our break. Waid, okay. you are from outside the box. You are from outside the box. And, you know, you are just listening in for the first time. You don't even understand the subject. Do you now understand anything from listening to the conversation in the past few minutes? Do you understand anything now? What do you understand?
Yes, I understand what they're talking about, and I can pick one or two lessons from it.
Very good.
I know the professional footballers are fighting the cause, which is actually, very, very, very necessary. Other sports are even looking up to them because what happens in football is parades all other sports. So football is detecting the pace for Nigerian sportsmen. And I can understand what Mr. Batunde Ogada is even saying. They concede the ball. They are the football owners, the football clubs owners, and at the same time, what the states are doing. What I know, and it's possible, is that the boards of NFF or NFA, as the case may be, they are not registered. It's only government that is playing games with everybody. So what the FPFN is trying to do, I think they should find other means of doing it. They should lobby, they should persuade, they should do more of diplomacy to do this job. They are saying the right thing. They are fighting for the future of the footballers, and they want footballers to be represented at the NFF. But they can't just come up and say this is the way it should go. They should find a means of getting into everybody involved, who are the decision makers, who are the stakeholders that they can go into and lobby and persuade and do whatever to get what they wanted. It's not that giving an ultimatum, it's not going to do the job. It's not going to do the job.
Okay, because we all are witnesses to what happened in other sports. In the Athletics Federation of Nigeria, there is a conflict, an ongoing conflict, where it has been resolved. It had to do with the statutes. In the Basketball Federation of Nigeria, there is an ongoing conflict, which is about the statutes of the AFN, how it will be applied to produce its leadership. So it is a big thing, and in other sports as well, just as it is in football. Now we saw an example where the sports ministry, as the supervisory body in charge of all sports in Nigeria, waded into a conflict that had to do with statutes and took position. Look, we are going to side with what the International Federation said. They did that with the Athletics Federation of Nigeria. They are going to look at the issue of basketball to determine how that would be, as neutral arbiters in this matter. So why are we not thinking that the sports ministry should come into this matter? Because it's not footballers playing now. When you say Professional Football Association of Nigeria, in fact, those that are being touted in the forefront of this project are not footballers that are paid by club owners. You see, that's the mistake. They are not paid by any club owners. Am I paid by a club owner? But I belong to the PFAN. You see, it is an all-encompassing body for all footballers. So let us go on our short break. Or no, let me go back to Harrison before we go on our break, so that maybe he can clarify a little bit more, because Nigerians need clarity. Even as I sit here, the things are not so clear to me. So Harrison, please put it better, so that when we come back, we will have better understanding of these issues, because truly, I do not understand. Harrison.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I thought the FAN would speak like a lawyer. I don't know that he will speak like a club owner.
Speaker, I would take exception to that. If I have to get off this program, I would leave the program. Please, I take
it. Okay, I take it back. I take it back, FAN. I take it back, FAN.
As a lawyer.
Yes, I take it back, FAN. Let me make what I was trying to say.
Make your point, Harrison. Don't refer to what he said. You
what I was
make your
trying
point.
to say,
I apologize on behalf of Harrison, please.
Yes, I apologize, sir. If that is out of the way. What I was trying to say was a reference that we are giving, there's no threat in it. It's contained in the statute. If you want an amendment, the process is that's what we follow. There is a member that wants a change in the statute. We'll have to ask, and get it within the period. It's there. We are not going outside. We are ex-footballers. We have a right to be accommodated in the administration of football. Which professional club is being run professionally in Nigeria today? There are a lot of things that should be corrected. We are looking at the value, the economic value that will be added to the game. Or everything is in disarray. Footballers are not being paid. Even the club owners, they don't pay the player. The state government, they dish out money. They don't know this money don't get to the players. The grassroots is dead. The Principal's Cup, the minister is just trying to bring it back. That's where we were all products of the Principal's Cup. A lot of things are wrong with the system. We have a right to say, yes, we want this thing changed because that is our life. The other people at 35, 40, we are retired. Some of us didn't go to school. Some of us didn't learn another trade. So where do you want to dump us? We are asking that there should be change in this whole process. So we are following due process. We are not threatening anybody. It's a matter of right. We are a member of the federation, a true member of the federation. So what we are saying is that the statute is skewed to a particular constituency, and that is unacceptable. Our demand are very straightforward. There is no federation in the world that will not look at this dispassionately. That's our constituency. What we are saying is simple. You don't simply need to have 37 people in a 44-member Congress. That's complete injustice.
Okay, Harrison, do you know that we have just run this program without even going for a break? The issue is so heated, the issue is so divisive, in terms of understanding them. So let's go on a short break. Let's just calm down a little bit, go on a short break. And when we come back, Babatunde will also come in to tell us what he now thinks after the break.
And there's the start. Promises to Shara. Winds up that right hand. Archbishop of basketball, goal! He hung on that net like a stalk up a tree.
NTA Sports 24 brings you all sports, all time and all day. Tune in to watch NTA Sports 24 on Star Times Channel 270, StarSat on Channel 434 and Free TV on Channel 731. NTA Sports 24, where sports thrive.
So welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is the Sports Parliament. Time has just flown so quickly. You see, I haven't been paying particular attention to Nigerian football. I was so tired with the whole thing that even the things I used to know, I no longer know. Harrison is right that if you are a member of the federation, if you are affiliated to the federation and you want an amendment, you can give notice, a 90 days notice. Submit whatever your amendment is, give them notice, and there are certain processes you have to go through. He's saying that that's the process that they have gone through. But what I am saying is that, look, the system of our football in Nigeria, no matter how you look at it, there's so many things are wrong. So many things are wrong. to have elections now, it has become such an expensive business. It is about money. It is about political influence. It is about now taking elections to the state where you think you have, access to power that can manipulate the system. Previously, all elections will take place in the Federal Capital Territory. You just go there. But now when you have 170-something people for one election, and somebody will pay for everybody to go to a state, they will tell the state government to house them. So it influences elections. So many things are wrong with it. But I don't know what we can do. But I believe that the statutes should be a starting point. Should the sports ministry get involved? Babatunde Ogala.
You see, whether we like it or not, just like Harrison says, they're giving a 90-day notice. Mr. Speaker, when you even introduced this subject to us, the parliamentarians, you said they were threatened and they're giving an ultimatum. And that is where I came from. Now he has explained that the statute says give 90 days notice.
Yeah.
So perhaps...
That's my error. That's my error.
Threat, because that's the topic I was made.
That's my error. That's my error.
Having said that, if they have indeed given the notice of a proposed amendment, rightly so, where to go? Where to go? But however, I am still saying, you need to lobby, like Wahid Ekman said, there is a lot of diplomacy. You need to build consensus, and it cannot be achieved overnight. And I want us to move away from the entitlement mentality. The entitlement mentality does nobody no good. He has said, we are the players, some of us have played football, we are retired, some didn't go to school, they have nothing to do. Just like if I am a lawyer. If I retire from law, I go back to whatever I can do, or I go back home. It's my profession. So that is entitlement mentality. So we need to move away from that. If you are discussing the equity, and in discussing the equity of it, that is why I would say you need diplomacy. Look, if I'm a club owner, for instance, the club owners, there can be no clubs without players. And the players can have nothing to do without the clubs. Are they not complementary? Are they not both equally marginalized? By some persons that we have all described. Mr. Speaker, you know my views about Nigerian football. You know my views. You know what I think. That I've often said, I'm investing money in it. Right now I'm paying players who are docile and idle. I'm camping them, but I do it not. What ought to be business to me has just become an interest and a passion to keep some young boys off the streets and mischief and crime and drugs. That is why we do it. So until...
Okay, let me just ask you briefly, because we have run out of time. Who should control Nigerian football? Is it the state... Wait, let me ask. I've not finished.
Okay.
Is it the state FAs or the club owners? I'm talking of Nigerian football. To whom should the greater power belong? Is it the state FAs or the club owners? Please.
Who controls British football? The football association.
No. It's the club. No. The clubs. How many times have you heard of the FA? Of the FA, it's the clubs. The clubs are more powerful than anybody else.
The FA.
That's the question. Who constitutes the FA?
Exactly.
Who constitutes the FA? Who constitutes the FA?
Of course, the clubs own it.
Okay. Let us do an assignment. Let us do an assignment. Let us look at all the states in Nigeria. It's just an assignment, simple assignment. Let us look at all the states in Nigeria and then come up with a list of state FA chairmen and the clubs that they come from. And why do you have to separate the state FAs from club owners if they are the same? Because they could be the same.
We are still on the same page, Mr. Speaker. We are still on the same page on this. That's why I said I come from a position of a club owner who are the owners. I've said that over and over again. I think on this we are on the same page. Look, I look at the Lagos FA, for instance. Even Pinnick Which club does he own? Which club does he run? He was chairman of Delta FA. Before then what? And that is the same across board. All the FA chairmen are appointed by the state government. But again, why is that so? Can we, for the minute, give me the thoughts? They attempted the Super League in Europe. Can we give it a thought here and start something independent? That's where the struggle starts.
I like what you just said now. Let us go to Waheed. Waheed. Yes. I am playing. Look, I'm the speaker. I am playing devil's advocate here. Some of you guys. Waheed. Okay, respond to Babatunde Ogala.
There are fundamental issues we have to address. In the states, the government nominates the chairman of FA. Should that even be the case? I mean, it's the stakeholders that should nominate the chairman of football associations. All the former footballers too have the right to contest to be anything in the state. So what are we talking about? This is the way it should be. I'm happy the stage we are here now, there's more awareness and there's more concern about the active players, the major ingredients of the sport. Likewise, other sports. That is why the government is having advantage over other associations. I mean, we are giving them the chance. So I commend the PFAN for doing this, but they must find a way of doing it to the point that they will get adequate results.
Very good, very good. Well, what we have succeeded in doing, let me go to our president, our chairman or president of the PFA. What you have succeeded in doing is raising a fundamental issue and making us even discuss it. Tijani, are you still there? Tijani, are you still there? I think he has gone. Oh, no, Tijani is there. You have raised a fundamental issue now. Just your final thoughts. You have heard what SAN said. You have heard what Waheed said. It is clear to me that there's not enough understanding generally. There's not enough education generally about the issues themselves. Maybe that's what you should address. You have 30 seconds to answer because we have run out of time.
Well, first of all, yes, I had all the conversation here about the owners of he called club. Many club chairmen are in the zero, but the play anyway. The most important thing in this issue of the task force is and to have a way that have a one-on-one of NFF, so that we can be able to talk diplomatic. Things will be perfect and then things amended. We are not here to fight any. No way. That's why we are here all talking about all things that is a very good half, and we are waiting positively from the leadership of call us and call all the to sit again and review what is in Nigerian football. It's very important.
Very good. Okay, Harrison, last words from you. Are you going to fight for this, or are you going to discuss and negotiate for this?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's very simple. There are inbuilt mechanisms to achieve our aim, and that is the due process we are following. We hope to take it to the point we need to take it to and arrive at something, but what I can assure all stakeholders, football cannot run the way it is running in Nigeria. It's unacceptable. There must be a change in the process of administration. There must be a change in the way clubs are run. Clubs have to be run professionally. A lot of things that are wrong with them. They have the potentials. We have the economic potential. We have the population to create an industry out of football. So that's the position we are taking, but we are going to follow the inbuilt mechanism in resolving it within the federation.
Okay, well done. Well done,
Harrison.
Harrison. Well done, Tijani Babangida. Babatunde Ogala will sign us out of today's program by moving a motion. I don't know what motion you can move now at this point, based on the conversation. You have 5 seconds. You can't say much. You have 5 seconds to finish.
Ogala hereby move that the parliament be adjourned till Thursday next week at exactly 10:30 p.m. on NTA network service. I so move.
Fantastic. All those in favor of the motion include Waheed Ekun in Ibadan. Say aye.
Yes.
All those against say nay.
Nay.
Well, you can see the gavel is back this week. The eyes have it. See you next week.
NTA, you can't beat the rich.
Hello and welcome. It's time for another interesting package of
everything music.
Angelina, you dey cool in my temperature. If you call, I go come deliver.
This is Talkie Movies.
In times of old, the world was full of wonder. No!
Stop it! Welcoming you to your weekend for today.
Arise, O compatriots. It's time to use our voice.
Beyond 6 packs.
Bills.
Pay the bills. Keep paying telephone bills. Pay my bills.
Welcome to Gallery.
Me and my paddies.
London for what?
London for medicine.
Medicine for what?
Medicine for coffee.
Are you sickness?
To our illness. Welcome to Gist Zone.
All right, my name is the Eselucien Wego One. Ona nyokoko nyonyo.
The rainy season is well grounded in many parts of Nigeria, with different crops growing at different stages. In the northwestern region, however, the farms are dry in many places and it is July already, as the rainy season lasts for a few months only. What are the implications of this dry spell on food security? This and more on Panorama this afternoon, coming to you from the Sokoto Network Center. I am Asmao Habibu Shagadi. The Department of State Services has advised Sunday Igboho to present himself to security agencies as soon he will not have a hiding place. This was when the DSS paraded 12 of his guards for stockpiling arms and determined to undermine public order. Francis Farm reports.
The arrests and seizures are no doubt a confirmation of a grand plan by Igboho and his cohorts to wage a violent insurrection against the Nigerian state.
Acting on a credible intelligence, a joint team of security operatives approached the residence of Igboho at Soka in Ibadan. The team were allegedly attacked by his suspected guards, armed with AK-47 guns.
Alert foreign missions and licensing authorities within and outside Nigeria about this development and the possibility that Igbo could declare some of his personal permits and identity cards missing in order to seek their replacement. But this will be the end of his shenanigans. Soon, he will not have a hiding place. His strength will sure fail him, and the law will catch up with him.
Items recovered from the suspects include 7 AK-47 rifles, 3 pistol guns, 5,000 rounds of 7.62mm ammunition, charms amongst others. 5 of the AK-47 assorted rifles recovered from the suspects are suspected to be those collected by Igboho and his men from the Nigerian customs and immigration personnel at Idi Iroko in Ogun State. Frank says from NTA News.
Muhammadu Buhari is passionate about ensuring that the micro, small and medium enterprises get the best necessary support from both the federal and state governments. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo stated this at the 28th edition of the National Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Clinic in Dutse, Jigawa State, where he also distributed agricultural machineries and equipment provided by the state to 922 beneficiaries. State House correspondent Jide Onifade reports.
Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, accompanied by Governor Abubakar Badaro, his deputy Umar Namadi, and Minister of State for Industry, Trade and Investment, Mariam Katagum, toured the exhibition ground where various local products are on display. Vice President Osinbajo had one-on-one interaction with the participants and acknowledges their efforts, promising that the federal government will continue to give support and provide an enabling environment for their businesses to thrive. The Vice President also commends the state governor for collaborating with the federal government in the implementation of the various federal programs in the state for the benefit of the people.
I want to further assure participants that every effort will be made to address the challenges and bottlenecks that they may be facing. I must also encourage you to bring any of the issues, especially the issues to do with approvals and all of that, to the attention of the MSME Clinic Secretariat between today and tomorrow to get assistance and quick responses from some of the relevant agencies.
On his part, Governor Abubakar Badaro says the federal government continues to support the state in providing road infrastructure, dams, water for irrigation, and other support to traders, farmers, and even social intervention for the vulnerable in the state.
His Excellency the President also recently tasked our Vice President, who is leading the steering committee of the National Poverty Reduction and Growth Strategy. Tax was lifting 100 million out of poverty in 10 years. The President believed the Vice President will deliver, and we so believe so.
For every state and local government in the country needs to identify specific areas of comparative advantage, particularly in agriculture and other resource endowments, and strive to optimize competencies.
Still in Jigawa State, the Vice President also joined the state governor in the distribution of agricultural machineries and equipment. Before departing Dutse, Vice President Osinbajo inaugurated a 5.2 kilometers road, which the state governor dedicated to the president for facilitating the various loans through the National Economic Council for the Development of Infrastructure in States. In Dutse, Jigawa State, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
The Vice President has also tasked chairmen of local government areas to take personal responsibility in addressing crimes arising from mining activities as the federal government finalizes the revenue formula to compensate host communities in the mining industry. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo stated this at the Sustainable Mining Conference with the 774 local government chairmen. Miyi Ogidi reports.
44 solid minerals in 500 locations in the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory, buried in the bowels of the mountains. It is a paradox of some sort. Nigeria suffering in the midst of plenty due to management challenges.
Mining is hard work.
A control room, as it were. The media men seated. Then the vice president and top players in the solid minerals sector joined virtually. Vice President Osinbajo came prepared, touching on issues of resource management, federal, state, local government relations in unearthing the hidden wealth and reading criminals out in the mining forest formed part of the VP's offering.
Hiring and equipping of armed groups by illegal but powerful mining concerns in many of our resource-rich areas is clearly fueled by the chaotic regulatory environment. The federal government, states and local governments have to jointly develop working arrangements to ensure that mining is attractive to investors, profitable for states and local governments. We must find a formula for compensating the communities for environmental degradation and erosion.
Out of the 44 minerals, 7 have been prioritized at the moment by the federal government, and getting the best of these 7 low-hanging fruits is the assignment before the Ministry of Mines and Steel Development, state executives, and local government chairmen.
And the Nigerian Governors Forum, which I head, will continue to work with the Ministry of Mines and Steel Development to deepen the objective of cooperative federalism and beneficial participation of all stakeholders in the Nigerian mining sector.
It demonstrates our zeal and preparedness to welcome global investment partners. We have put in place incredible incentives to support investors and to unlock the sector.
2 gold refineries almost ready in Nigeria. This will put an end to the exportation of raw mineral resources to other countries, the Ministry of Mines and Steel Development assured. Mayor Ogide, NTA News.
The Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Sadia Umar Farouk, has reiterated the federal government's determination to alleviate poverty among Nigerians through various social intervention programs. She was speaking at a stakeholders meeting on the National Homegrown School Feeding Program held in Gusau, the Zamfara state capital. Haliru Muhammad Umar reports.
A meeting with stakeholders on the homegrown school feeding program by the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Sadia Umar Farouk, was aimed at reviewing the challenges, successes and prospects of the social intervention in Zamfara state. The minister, who commended Zamfara state government and focal persons for supporting the program, said the federal government is committed to getting as many Nigerians as possible out of poverty through social interventions. Some officials of the program who welcomed the meeting called for full implementation of resolutions and recommendations made towards the effective running of the program in the state for better results. In the meantime, the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Sadia Umar Farouk, has distributed engagement letters and some devices to trained independent monitors who will closely monitor all federal government's social intervention programs. In a remark, Zamfara State Commissioner for Humanitarian Affairs and Disaster Management Faiqa Ahmed thanked the federal government for initiating people-oriented programs while calling on beneficiaries to take advantage of them. In Gusau, Halir Muhammad Umar, NTA News.
The Director General Nigeria Television Authority, Malam Yakubu Ibn Muhammad, has added to the list of his plaque of recognition. The letters is coming from a group of Nigerians rewarding unflinching support to the fight against insecurity. Abdullahi Muhammad reports.
Insecurity, a global concern. Winning the fight, a collective effort. Management and intelligence sharing, critical. And for being consistent in the discharge of these roles, the Director General, Nigeria Television Authority, was found to be excellent. His Director News stood in for him with a reassurance of NTA's continuous support.
NTA remains committed in partnering with the nation's security agencies towards maintaining peace and security, because nothing can be achieved without peace and security. And we all know the situation in our country now, which is bedeviled by a lot of security challenges. So this is in recognition of that contribution of the NTA and the Director General in particular.
Photographs, please.
And the award goes to my humble husband and the entire police officers of Nigerian and my immediate members.
A compendium which seeks to guide the public in supporting security agents in keeping the peace was introduced.
National security concerns is everybody's business. It is not an individual thing. It's not peculiar, restricted and limited to the military forces alone.
A song was also dedicated to peace and security in Nigeria. In Abuja, Abdullah Muhammad, NTA News.
Panorama continues in a moment. Don't go away.
The vaccine offers hope for a safe country free of coronavirus. I urge all state governments, traditional and religious leaders to take the lead in the mobilization effort within their environment and spheres of influence. I similarly urge all eligible Nigerians to present themselves and be vaccinated in accordance with the order of priority already mapped out at the various authorized designated centers only.
This withdrawal will take place under this administration.
Well, I don't want you to conclude on me.
All right, so
yes, we actually would like to, but you have also mentioned something very important.
Right.
Mentioned the issue of palliatives.
Right.
Oil and gas under the Buhari administration. That's on one with the Minister of State Petroleum Resources.
People don't realize in Nigeria that a gas cylinder has a manufacture date and an expiry date. So a lot of expired cylinders were also brought into the country.
One on One, Friday, 10:30 p.m. on NTA.
Thank you for staying tuned. And now to our discussion segment, and we are going to discuss about dry spell and its implication on 2021 wet season farming in the Northwest. And I have with me in the studios Professor Abubakar Umar Diko, who is from the Faculty of Agriculture, Usman Danfodio University, Sokoto. Sir, you are welcome to Panorama.
Thank you.
Okay, in some parts of the country, the rains are fully grounded with crops growing at different levels. In this part of the country, however, there had been a long dry spell without rain. How can this possibly affect food production here?
Naturally, rain is the main driver of crop growth. The expectations are once rain starts, farmers will plant. And they will provide all the necessary inputs and they will have a good production. Unfortunately, once there is no rainfall or late set-in of rainfall, we should expect some trouble. For instance, in a year like this one, 2021, it is already predicted by NIMET that rain will start late in certain states of the far northwest.
Okay. And
actually it has happened. For instance, in Sokoto State and some part of Kebbi and Zamfara, up till now, farmers have not planted. Why? There is no rainfall. And where they have planted so instead of the rainfall, over a period taken, the drought have taken a toll on the crops that have been planted. Especially where the farms are endowed or have been supplied with good fertilizer or manure. Naturally, manures are hot or fertilizer is hot. And if a farm is well taken care of and you plant and the rainfall is not sufficient, the crop will germinate and they will begin to grow, but they may eventually whittle out. Mm-hmm. This is because there is no subsequent rain, and that is what we are facing now.
Okay.
The farmers are in their need of rainfall. Mm-hmm. There are places where planting have not been done.
Okay.
I know, I'm quite aware, and people know that in certain areas, a lot of our areas, planting have not yet been done, and people are still waiting.
Okay.
Although this is predicted, Nimet said 29th of June is when they expect rain. Well, in certain places, actually there was rainfall, but it was not uniform. It was not adequate.
Okay.
But those that had some sufficient enough, they were able to plant, and these were the problems they encountered after planting.
Okay, so what is the implication of this weather situation on the food security of the nation, and especially that there are crops like millet, kidney corn, that is grown in large quantities here?
In these areas?
In this area.
Yes, well, the expectations are once there is insufficient rainfall, then there will be insufficient crop production. And insufficient crop production will naturally affect total outcome of food produce. So we expect a kind of lowered down total amount of food produce. And some of these things, millet, cowpea, millet is very important to these areas. Cowpea is important, very important to the whole country because it's been consumed all over. So if we have low production or low yield due to rainfall, we expect the farmers, of course, not to be happy, and the food will not be sufficient, and overall, country-wise, it will be insufficient. Because once you don't have, it's a kind of basket you are contributing, everybody is putting his own, and we get enough for the whole nation.
Okay.
If there is shortfall anywhere, it will definitely affect.
Okay. So, sir, what is your advice to farmers as regards this year's rainy season farming?
You know, weather is a very delicate issue. It's something that you can hardly have control on. The only thing is, in situations like this, the advice is use varieties that will have a shorter duration, because the amount of rainfall, the rainfall came in late, and they may likely stop early. If the predictions are correct, you know, we say man propose, God dispose, okay?
Yes.
So shorter duration crops may do better. For instance, in terms of millet, things like, I don't know, but our farmers use the local varieties. The local varieties, they are so engrossed with them. They have been using them over time. But if they can try to at least get some of these improved varieties, they may assist, because they take a shorter time.
Okay.
Okay, they take a shorter time and may be able to finish up even if the rain stops. Like super suicide, some of these are available in the market. And it will assist them to ensure at least crop finishing and finishing with a good yield.
Okay, so on this, what can the government do to support the situation and reduce the effect of the dry spell on general situation of food production in the zone?
So, government is the anchor of everything. You see, whenever there is problem, everybody runs to government. And government is supposed to be the one to kind of salvage the situations. One of the ways is, once the farmers have shortfall, the country have shortfall, because they are mostly subsistence farmers who produced, and they add to the total yield of the nation. The best I think government could do is try to find a way of assisting those farmers. One, to secure good seeds in the initial stage, and then enable them to have inputs that will enable those new varieties or improved varieties to perform well, because the issue is any crop that yield high requires high amount of fertilizer.
Okay.
I mean, nobody grows without eating food. Fertilizer is just food. They are providing more food because they grow faster and bigger, and they produce more. So more is expected. So they should be given sufficient input to allow them to perform and get what they want. Then secondly, at the end of the day, farmers will suffer and have their produce. But after the harvest, they forget everything. So they try to sell. Government should come in and try to intervene and buy some of those surpluses. Keep them. I mean, when the difficulty comes in towards the end, when food prices started going up, then they should kind of intervene and sell what they kept in small, I mean, sell them at a lower price.
Okay. Sir, there are these activities of middlemen, and it's another challenge to food sufficiency.
Of course, yes.
So what can be done to checkmate their activities and ensure that farmers benefit from their hard work?
Middlemen are opportunists. Opportunists in the sense that after you have done all the drudgery, all the suffering, and at the end of the day we are able to produce a food, immediately after harvest, you know food is cheaper. So what they will do is they will come in, buy the surplus, and keep. They know where to sell it at a more costly rate, or they may keep it until much later when it is so costly, when farmers cannot afford to buy it again. So farmers sell at a very cheap rate initially, and if care is not taken, I don't know if they may be able to buy it at the end of the day. What government could do here, and any other people, even the farmers themselves, they should refuse to sell. They should. I know they depend on these crops for their business or their day-to-day activities, sort of. I mean, their ceremonies and other things. They sell them to do what they want. But it will help if they can endure to at least salvage what they could eat after the end of, the period from one harvest to the other. It will help them a lot. And what I said earlier, government should buy the surplus instead of the middlemen and sell it at a cheaper rate. That will help the farmers and help the general public.
Okay. Sir, we thank you so much for having your time to be here on Panorama this afternoon. I have been talking with Professor Abubakar Umar Duko from Faculty of Agriculture, Osman Danfodio University, Sokoto. And moving on, motorists in Sokoto State have appreciated the federal government's effort in roads rehabilitation to boost the economy. The projects are being undertaken under the COVID-19 intervention program by the Federal Roads Maintenance Agency. Dalhat Abdullahi has more.
The federal road from Sokoto to Gusau has had its fair share of potholes and bad portions, especially along Sokoto-Treta axis. This had caused road crashes over the years, leading to loss of lives and property. The repairs being undertaken will, however, help reduce the carnage and improve the economy of the people.
The repairs of the road is very solid and people are really appreciated.
That's a good improvement. Even the commuters, they can understand that.
And this is current administration has done a lot to see that they repair this road.
Other roads rehabilitation being undertaken under the federal government COVID-19 intervention project include Sokoto Dange, Sokoto Ilela, Kaji Jijabu, Sokoto Western Bypass Road, Sokoto Guaranyo Sabon Birni, and the Niger Republic roads.
And our intention is to make sure that we make this road motorable. And of course, you know that Sokoto-Gusau Road is a critical road in Sokoto State, if not the most critical road, because it links Sokoto State to a number of states. So we discovered that this is one of the critical roads we have in Sokoto State, and that's why you see FEMA intervening on the road. And the response we're getting from our stakeholders is very impressive. We're encouraged by that, and we're proud of what FEMA is doing on this road.
The rehabilitation of the roads will further enhance safety and reduce travel time. In Sokoto, Dalhat Abdullahi, NTA News.
And that's it on Panorama this afternoon. Before we go, do remember to be a star. Connect with NTA Stand Against Rape and Rapists. Thank you for staying tuned. Good afternoon.
NTA. You can't beat the rich.
Hello and welcome. It's time for another interesting package of
Everything Music.
Angelina, you dey cool in my temperature. If you call, I go come deliver.
This is Talking Movies.
In times of old, the world was full of wonder. No.
Stop it! Welcoming you to your weekend for today.
It's time to use our voice.
Beyond 6 packs.
Bills.
Pay the bills. Keep paying telephone bills. Pay my bills.
Welcome to Gallery.
Me and my paddies.
London for what?
London for medicine.
Medicine for what?
Medicine for coffee.
Are you sickness?
To our illness. Welcome to Gist Zone.
All right, my name is the Eselucien Wego One. Ona nyokoko nyonyo.
Welcome to Abuja, the place that unites Nigeria.
This is the network service of the NTA.
Sheer adventurism is driving me to go deep into the Onyama mines. It is the biggest coal mine in the whole of South. Well, the coronation of the new Oni is a watershed in the history of the Yoruba land generally, and Ife in particular. Now, because they have a leader now, that will... Simply put, Gura is a beautiful countryside with awesome landscapes. Something differently will be done to the Nigerian textile industries, that our youth will be employed. Many people that attend the church here can tell you. Service in Holy Rosa is in the... We are taking a canoe tour of the communities on the bank of River Niger in Getso. Abuja, Nigeria's federal capital city, can be a puzzle, but it is the story I would like to tell. It is fascinating that it is evolving in the full light of history, but then there are some significant aspects of it that are bases in mystery. The world never gets to hear them. Whoever could have guessed, for instance, that Abuja was foretold centuries before its spirit could touch the earth? I do not trust my writing skills. I could have come up with a bestseller on Abuja. What inspires me is passion. The territory which is now occupied by Abuja as a symbol of the Federal Capital Territory is a territory that was occupied at one point by different cultural and social systems. Those social systems may still exist. But then obviously the interplay of the new and the old has brought a lot of dislocations, and some heritages were lost. It is up to say here that some heritages were at the crossroads too. There is an interesting story told by the Emir of Jua, Idris Musha, and it has relevance with the lost heritages faced by local communities following the life imagined in the FCT.
I was working in Suleja Government as a health officer called Dugagari. So before Federal Capital Territory, most of these villages under Abuja, I knew them. And I'd go around with them as inspectors, health inspector. Being new development, because after working 15 years with Suleja local government, 1991, I transferred my service to Federal Capital Territory, where I belong, where my village falls. But still yet, my relations are still in Suleja. We are predominant farmers. Let me give you an example. From here to Garki, you can trek from here to Garki where sun will not touch you because it was a typical forest. Typical forest to Garki. If you don't want sun to touch you, it will not touch you.
Please stay tuned.
It's far from told, and I'm actually inspired by an event. Early February, there was an anniversary.
The chairman of Federal Character, that is the Senate, thank you, Maria, and the Senator President. Ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to stand as the same protocol because of the time. I'm greatly delighted today to call upon to make some remarks at this very important stakeholder conference on the mandate of federal character principle and nation building. The topic is timeless and important instrument in fostering our continuing as a nation. May I join other people in congratulating the architect of today's program, my brother, distinguished Senator Joseph La, the Chairman Senate Committee on Federal Character and Intergovernmental Relations, and our Supervising Committee of the Federal Character Commission, with all distinguished senators who have worked so hard over the years to place the principle of federal character on the consciousness of Nigerians. To us at the Federal Character Commission, the committee has been a dependable supervisor of immense assistance. We thank them, their committee, for organizing this conference with all other stakeholders. It is not only timely, but requires emphasis to address some issues on the national question. In understanding the principle of federal character for galvanized nation building, it will be necessary to have a background on all structures that were put forward in making our federation work. To understand the concept of federal character, permit to dwell a little on the evolution of federation, which with all intent and purpose, not only to accommodate the land mass, but was the first harmonious condition for cohesion of all Nigerians. Before independence, various constitutional provisions were here or aimed at unifying the country as one entity. These constitutional cooperation and executive were designed to create avenues for equal representation. When independence was granted in 1960, there was apprehension and fear of domination or sidelining within the evolution central machinery of governance by one section or the other. On the combination of groups against others, were publicly in the head said the commitment to the concept of unified Nigeria was strong. The emerging class of political leaders were strong in their resolve to design principles on which to organize the Nigerian state, even as embarked on the formation of political parties, promote their several and conflicting ethnic and sectional interests. However, and quite interesting was that even under such circumstances, it's worthy of note that our leaders were anonymous in embracing the ideology of federalism, and this train of work resolved the contradiction generated not only by the competition for dominance, but also by the search for structural balance in Nigerian Federation. Since independence, as pointed out earlier, our resolve to forge a united, invisible nation has provided for relative compromise among competing claims, as well as a delicate balance between the demands put forward by the various groups. This approach in a plural society is best captured in the description by our founding fathers of that federal process as unity in diversity. We have been able to expand the access of various groups to the center of engagement in the country. Distinguished participants, the Federal Commission, and indeed other similar establishments face the challenge of building a more stronger, much more just political communities in which interests cross across, identities gradually overlap, and intergroup recognition are based on the principle of fair and equity access. Opportunities are provided at different levels for components units to effect compromises while protecting their identities and pursue legislative goals while traversing the same track with others. The key to the success of nation building is therefore the extent to which we are prepared to accommodate others and the extent to which we develop a spirit of give and take. Ladies and gentlemen, I must say, however, that the issue that created the imperative of the establishment of federal character were not particular to Nigeria alone. Most multicultural, multi-ethnic, most religious, and sometimes multi-racial nations of the world have always been confronted with the delicate need to accommodate imbalances in all sections. For these imbalances have the tendency of bringing about suspicion, conflict of alteration among various ethnic nationwide. It should be further noted that under this situation, which inevitably breeds instability and discord among the different groups, it becomes particularly difficult for a nation to be effectively administered for the benefit of all the people. Therefore, the need for remedial measures gave back to the Federal Character Commission. Its primary focus is to ensure a strong, vibrant, and indivisible nation based on fairness, equity, and justice, with a view to promoting national loyalty and fostering a sense of belonging among all Nigerians. The development of the principle of equity, fairness, and equity and social justice is indispensable for the building of an enduring nation. Ladies and gentlemen, I've deliberately avoided to bother you with the operational strategy, but I've based my remarks on the echo of the remarkable benefits. The principle as to appreciate that in nation building, the virtue of collectiveness is understandably necessary in our efforts to prosper as a nation. The participants, the Federal Character Commission have therefore over the years used the constitutional mandate of ensuring distribution of posts, infrastructure to promote a developmental strategy so as to build a great nation. But in spite of all the effort of national establishment, and above all, the FCC, the cry for modernization, domination is still loud. I have no doubt in my mind the Federal Character Commission is at the best to see that Nigeria are properly represented at all levels. The realization of the principle has made establishments cautious of the need for balancing their bureaucratic position and resource allocation. And now more than ever before, the agencies, ministries of critical infrastructure are now conscious of spread. The fear of cry of marginalization is the beginning of wisdom to government agencies who arbitrarily allocate projects to their constituencies and encourage at the commission of our strike in monitoring project allocation. We are confident that our intervention in that regard, which is our core mandate, will enhance spread by alleviating complaints and cries of neglect. We are also encouraged by the government's massive infrastructural development, whichever region is a beneficiary. Which every region is a beneficiary. In conclusion, the need for federal character principle will continue to dominate our national discourse. But the truth is that no one will argue against the principle of equity, fairness, justice, and social liberty. Our nation, more than ever before, is at a crossroad. We need institutions like the federal character to solidify our nation with the support synergy of the National Assembly through the Senate Committee on Federal Character and the House Committee. The Federal Character Commission is ever poised to recall the hope of Nigerians and is still in hope the need for loyalty to the nation. Thank you for your attention. I wish you a successful deliberation and thank you for coming. We appreciate everybody.
Thank you very much. Please let's give her a resounding ovation as she takes a seat. Please, without further ado, let's welcome Senator Danjuma Lai for his opening remarks. Please, let's give him a sounding ovation.
Good morning. The chairman, person of our representative, all senators here present, the chairperson, the federal character, the representative of PAMS, SEG of SAG. I stand here as the chairman, federal character and intergovernmental affairs. I wish to beg all of you that are here today that this seminar is starting very, very late. We are very sorry. And we have to apologize before you. There are more than reasons that brought this seminar to start very late. One, most of the people from the north around Abuja, Kaduna, Kano, and what have you, transportation coming here is not easy. We tried chartering some flights. Some gave reasons which is just based on to them. As it is, some of our senators are stranded. I beg of you to please bear this short arrangement, which will hope in the near what I was told that the information got to you very, very late. Any other shortcoming will be amended in the next subsequent meeting or seminar to be held in respect of these federal character principles. I stand here to give my little opening speech just to encourage ourselves as Nigerians, and will continue to be our brothers' keepers in any case. Our dear Nigerian is a diversified country made up of about 200 million people, over 500 languages spoken, over 250 ethnic nationalities. It is in the light of this that the Senate Committee in the Federal Character and Intergovernmental Affairs justice, equity, and fairness in the distribution of resources of an opportunity of this country to share all things that belongs to federal government. It's not employment that federal character is fully responsible. The purpose of this conference are therefore to promote a better understanding of the federal character principle as entrenched in our Constitution. Two, to identify the nexus between the federal character principles, the respect, justice, equity, and fairness among the different groups in the country. The exposure of the federal character's principles through enhancing and protecting work environment, increase staff productivity, entrenching work best practice and achievement, and all inclusive egalitarian society. Finally, it is to ensure that the MDS implement the federal character's principle fairly and justly toward addressing inter-ethnic strife, underdevelopment, unemployment, and insecurity across the country. It is on this basis that I, on behalf of the Senate Committee, invite you to sincerely deliberate on all issues contained in the arms and objections of these all operating conferences. The essence is to strengthen the relationship between the MDS and the Oversight Committee of the National Assembly with a view to having a better country for all. Thank you and may God bless all of us as we come to this conference. Thank you very much.
Please, let's also give him a standing ovation, please, as he takes his seat. All right. Up next, we're going to bring to you our keynote speaker for today, our first paper presenter, no other person than Dr. Akamas George. Please, let's put our hands together as he comes to the podium. Dr. Akamas George is a PhD holder. He's also a renowned thought leader on leadership. He's becoming the foremost executive leadership coach and also a lecturer on leadership. He's working with the Center for Global Engagement of the Coventry University. Please, once again, let's give him a resounding ovation.
Good afternoon and welcome to a live telecast reaching you from the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, the largest TV network in Africa. We are in the prestigious Ibom Hall at Uyo, the Akwa Ibom State capital, for a stakeholders conference, the mandate of the Federal Character Commission and nation building. The event is held by the Senate Committee on Federal Character and Intergovernmental Affairs in collaboration with the Presidency, Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation. Among the dignitaries expected to grace this occasion is the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Professor Yemi Osinbajo, Dr. Ahmed Ibrahim Lawan, President of the Senate, Akwa Ibom State Governor, His Excellency Dom Emmanuel, Senator Danju Mala, Chairman, Senate Committee on Federal Character and Intergovernmental Affairs, Boss Mustafa, Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Dr. Mohabi Dankaka, OON, Executive Chairman, Federal Character Commission, among others. The objectives of the conference include identifying the various areas of core mandate of the Federal Character Principles by creating equity and fairness amongst Nigerians in the areas of employment and resource sharing, practically addressing the crisis of confidence of Nigerians by strengthening personal work ethic that embodies foundational core values, among others. My name is Okun Ndeb, and I'll be joined later in the commentary by Susan Asukwo as we shall update you on the proceedings of the day. Happy viewing.
Europe and Africa, here in Nigeria. And there's nowhere you go that gives you that same feeling when you come to the place where you belong, the place where you are loved, the place where you feel safe, the place that has framed who you are, that gives you a sense of identity, home, the place you will defend against every attacker without and within. There is no place like home. But it's not just my home, it's your home too. And we'll be lying to ourselves if we say we're not under attack from those who are either proactively involved in this aggression to benefit themselves, from those of us who do nothing while this goes on. We have to do something. We have been so badly fragmented that it's a miracle that we're still together. We're a living miracle that we're still together. Something has to be done, and urgently. Which is why I applaud the conveners of this event. It's very easy to organize a conference on some superficial topic, like the meaning of federal character, or something very basic. We come together, invite some cheap speaker from outside the country who is embattled of a holiday to come home. We finish and we go and nothing happens. But when you pick a topic as equity, fairness, and justice, there's nowhere to hide. We cannot sugarcoat it. We're grabbing the bulls by the horn to have a very difficult conversation. It takes boldness. It takes courage. It takes someone who is passionate about his country to take that step. So I applaud you. And thank you very much for inviting me. He deserves the applause. Equity, fairness, and justice. Do we still know what these mean? So when I teach the ethics of leadership, I give my students an assignment. I ask them to imagine that they're on a big raft. Their plane crashed, they're on a big raft in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. And the boat can take all but one of them. If they insist everybody gets on the boat, they will all die. I ask them to tell me how they will decide which one of them they'll throw out. For the first year students, they deliberate, they come back to me, and they say, I'll sacrifice myself. I laugh. This one I've not seen life yet. They have no idea what they're talking about. For the older ones, and then some of the partners and other people like Coach, there are a list of things they come back to consider. Now, this is not just an exercise in futility or for the fun of it. Neither do I think we'll actually be faced with that kind of predicament. But what I want to understand is what is the moral basis? What is the moral grounding with which they will make that difficult decision? Equity, fairness, and justice. After this exercise, I ask them to go back to their groups, and each person should individually write down 5 values that mean the most to them when working or in life general. 5 values in engaging with other people that mean the most to you, and without failure, every time, at every given level, the first year students, the postgraduate students, people like Coach, there is always something that refers to fairness, equity, and justice. Every time without fail, we all want it. Then I challenge them and say, if this is what you desire, this is what you want, you should be able to go out and live by these values. Equity, fairness, and justice. Federal character.